Welcome to Chopped Greens. I'm your host, Philip Amerine, and I am, of course, sitting by
Luke Wright.
And today, as I hope that everybody can hear, I'm pouring water. But today, we're back where it all started for us. We are back in the good old, not US of A, but AS of U.
Arizona State of University?
Yes.
I don't think it works that way.
It does if you go downtown. Downtown.
Under pressure.
Yeah, we had a whole David Bowie talking ceremony, sermon, whatever you want to call it, before the show, but that was good. Anyways, what else was really good is what we're talking about today, which is, Luke, you came to me. You said, what are we going to talk about today? Outside of Vladimir Klitschko retiring in boxing, outside of these phenomenal baseball trades going on in baseball, which even then, it's a little you know, outside of you, Darvish, it's about it. What are we going to talk about? And you popped your fingers, and you said, hey, I got an idea.
I do. I did. I said this like a week ago, too.
I know, you predicted it. You forecasted.
I was like, yeah, if Kyrie doesn't get traded, there's probably not going to be a lot to talk about. Because we're several days kind of past the MLB trade deadline, so there's really no point in talking about trades that happen anymore. A lot of those trades we kind of knew were happening. We just didn't know exactly who was going where.
Yeah.
But we knew who was leaving.
We knew you, Darvish, was going to the Dodgers. It was just a matter of who was going to be given up in order to do it. Like Verdugo, was he or was he not going to be in a deal?
Yeah.
Anyways.
So I thought, we've been sticking with this NBA rush, which is admittedly soon going to die away once football comes back.
Who knows? Well, once NFL comes back, I'm sorry, but NFL is king.
Yep, absolutely.
And I will be owning my fantasy league this year. So, just a heads up to all who challenged the throne. I am the champ in that league. Continue.
But I thought to quickly start to wrap up our NBA talk, we should do a quick ranking of players.
Now, you didn't just say players altogether. What you said is that we should specialize and specify in this list.
I wanted to do every position, but then you brought up a lot of times players play multiple positions, so we decided we're going to narrow it down to 3 positions.
Now, 2 of these I'm perfectly fine with. You couldn't have stated it more beautifully had I not said it myself, which are guards.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Gotta do the guards.
Gotta do the guards. Forwards, okay. Okay, that covers a lot of ground, but we'll do that. Then you insisted, dare I say, chained me to a wall and forced me demanded that I come up with a 5-man roster of centers in a modern NBA where centers are a dying zebra. Just pointless.
I mean, I'm not sure if I'd say pointless, but they are kind of dying.
Yes.
They're the stretch 5 instead of your traditional center.
Yes.
But I do think that the center is a very underrated position that, first of all, definitely deserves its own spot in the All-Star game.
No, but continue.
It absolutely does.
Not at all.
100%.
100% no.
And people like Deandre Jordan and a few other people that we'll mention deserve some recognition that they don't get because they get lumped in with forwards. Even though they're not forwards, they're very, very much a center.
And his DeAndre Jordan and his low free throw percentage self is thanking us in some form or fashion in a letter and an email, something, saying, thank you, Luke Wright.
He better.
Yeah, he better personally address it to Luke Wright because I did this out of protest. So, with that being said, which end of the spectrum would you like to start with? Would you like to start with the guards or the centers?
I'll leave it up to you because I want to know if you want to get the ones you hate out of the way first and do centers, or do you want to start with something more traditional and go front or backcourt to front court?
You know what? Let's go guards first because
okay.
I feel like that will anger me on your end, on what your selections are, and then centers I will anger you at my end. So
okay.
Why don't you start us off, and we'll just go down the list 1-1.
Okay. This is gonna be a little shocking, I'm going to start off with a minor hot take right from the get-go.
Hot take, here we go.
James Harden's my number one guard.
Okay.
James Harden's my number one guard after this last season because he proved not only is he going to be able to drop almost 30 points a game, he's able to run an offense. Not just one-on-one. He led the league in assists per game last year. So he's proven that he can actually do more than just score. And not just that, although I want to say he was second in the league in triple-doubles behind Westbrook. If it wasn't for Westbrook having such an insane year, he probably would have led the league in triple-doubles. And while, yes, Harden does not play defense pretty much ever,
no,
he proved in over
a
2 or 3 year span he could play defense. I want to say it was 2 years, last year a little bit, and the year before that, he was actually pretty good defensively. Not elite, not complete shutdown, lockdown defender, but he was playing some good defense. And then he quickly realized, well, Mike D'Antoni's my head coach, why am I playing D? But he proved that he at least is capable of it. So for me, when you put all of that together, and the fact that I think he has even more potential going forward now that he doesn't have to hold the ball every single possession, I put him as my number one guard.
All right. Luke, on my guard list, what I'm looking for length. All right, I don't need Isaiah Thomas. He's not in my five.
Not in mine either.
I need something, so even if you're trying to give a defensive effort, it doesn't go to waste because you're so small. So I love you, Isaiah. It's not on this list for me. I need somewhat of a defensive presence. Somewhat. And I need a leader. I need somebody who's gonna be the person that I need him to be to lead the team from the one position and not be a selfish prick and distribute the ball. So, I'm going with not the number one leader in assists like you because I feel that they were superficial and not real. I'm going with the true assist leader.
I feel like Steve Carell in that gif of him in the office of no, don't do it.
I'm going from the window to the wall.
Oh, okay.
John Wall, number one. He's going to be in number one. He covers me as far as length. I feel like if he wants to, and it's not always, but for the most part, he'll give you an honest defensive effort, and he has the length just necessary to squander and squash a lot of those smaller point guards and really get in their way. I like John Wall. He's got a lot of physicality. Could work on his three-point shot. Not always there, but not necessary. And he also, as pointed out by his 831 total assists last season, averaging 10.7 assists. I love me some assists on a point guard, so I'm going to give it to John Wall as my number one. You're number two.
John Wall.
Okay.
I had him number two because of how inconsistent that three-point shot is.
Yeah.
If he can just get a little bit better with that, I love everything else about him. He's someone he's starting to be able to hit a mid-range shot and people have to start respecting his jump shot. He's able to get to the rim. He's going to be able to play some solid defense for you. He's someone who's going to be able to get you. He can run the offense both on and off the court. So he's somebody that I would love to build around. But the only reason why I put him number two was because I'm looking for somebody who can hit that jump shot a little bit more consistently than him.
Number two for me, I'm going Chef Curry. As much as I preach defense, that would kind of go against Steph's game, but his ability to stretch the floor on offense is so prolific that I feel it's not just a Kyrie effect where you're yourself scoring points and that's supposed to lift your team. No, this actually benefits the rest of your team. And given the fact that he's always in the top 15 of assists, he gives an honest effort, and plus he plays in that pass first mentality in Golden State. There's a lot to like about Steph Curry, and even though he's your worst defender, I still feel that he has an average size. He's a little undersized, but he's just so prolific that I can't give it to anybody else. You're number three.
My number three is Steph Curry.
There we go.
Because of a lot of the things you mentioned, I mean, he's not someone who's going to play lockdown D. He's going to gamble, and he's going to get a couple steals for you. I know at one point he was like top 5 in the league for steals per game, and at one point in his career. But again, he's somebody who can pass. He's somebody who can create his own shot, create shot for other people. He has range literally the entire court. So the only thing that...
Hasn't he made a full court shot?
Probably.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. The thing that bumps him down for me is I want to see how he can create shots when he doesn't have other elite talent around him. Klay Thompson's an elite three-point shooter. Kevin Durant's an elite shooter. Draymond Green, not an elite shooter, but he can get to the rim and he can finish. Andre Iguodala can get to the rim and he can finish. And that team's just loaded with three-point shooting. So I'm curious to see how well some of those assist numbers... I'm sure he'd still get a lot of assists playing for other teams because he'd be the more of a focal point so he could get a lot more mismatches. But I am curious to see what he would be like on a team that doesn't have so much talent.
And to add to your point, just my bigger point as to why I don't have him higher, just those NBA Finals appearances only showing up really last year's in the second half of the games, like that to me is not, that's a real detriment, so something to keep aware of. My number 3, Mike Conley. I have a man crush. I know. But Mike Conley, I know. I'm blowing his mind right now. He is looking to puke. He's looking for the brown paper bag.
That's a hot take.
That's not a hot take.
That's a hot take.
No.
With how many guards you haven't, either of us have listed, and you're already throwing Conley up on that board, that's a hot take.
What do I love? I love a good defensive effort from my point guard. That you'll get a workers man mentality. I like a leader. Mike Conley does both of those, and even though he doesn't have a hot 3-point shot, I do think he'll give you an honest day's work from a point and field goal percentage, as well as I cannot understate how much of an MVP presence he was in that Spurs Grizzlies. I get that they lost, but they pushed that Spurs team a lot harder than needed and tired out Kawhi. A lot of the times he took one-on-one coverage with Kawhi, and that to me was just awe-inspiring as far as seeing the size disadvantage and how much he can also lead that team from a leadership perspective. So I'm going Mike Conley with my number 3. Your turn.
My number 4, and I'm sure some people are like, how has no one mentioned him yet? Yeah. The reigning MVP, Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Russell Westbrook's great. Notice how he didn't have that triple-double season until after Durant left? He didn't have a triple-double season until after Durant left, is because now that he's all by himself, he can take as many shots as he wants. Now, when he's by himself, everyone's going to only defend him, and he's going to have tons of open layup. To be honest, he should have been averaging 15 assists a game. He should have been leading the league in assists per game with how much the team would focus on him. If he had better players around him, he probably would have. The thing with Russell Westbrook is, he's great. He's an amazing talent, but he's also being overrated because of how bad of a team he's on, kind of to the point of Kevin Love when he was with the Timberwolves. When Love was with the Timberwolves, he was arguably top 5 player in the NBA, but it was because he's getting garbage stats on a garbage team. The difference was that Westbrook had just enough to where they're able to get into the Western Conference playoffs, whereas Love didn't. So Westbrook has a lot of talent and potential and athleticism. He's not a knockdown shooter.
No.
He's not going to give you a ton of defense. He could, but he doesn't because of how much energy he spends on offense. He is going to turn the ball over 6-7 times a game, and he's only going to get assists when he wants to. He's not going to make everyone around him better, per se. He's just going to hope the numbers game will impact enough in his favor to where people will be able to hit a shot if they get 20 wide open shots. So I think he's overrated in the grand scheme of things. He's only my number 4 guard.
Now, that's the key word there is guard, because if we were to do point guards, that's a different system. So I do have to include a shooting guard in here.
Your number 4?
Yeah, for my number 4. So and this is my only shooting guard in the list, but he's worthy of it. Klay Thompson. to me, again, it's rare in a shooting guard to see an honest defensive effort. And before Kevin Durant joined the team, it was Klay Thompson, to me, who powered that Golden State Warriors team to win above what was expected when they won their first championship. The fact that he's such a defensive just boon on, you can stick him on really close to anybody outside of his height and lock them down, as well as just totally take over a game all by himself, as showcased in, what was it, Game 7 versus OKC, the year that they lost to the Cavs. Mm-hmm. That was incredibly impressive. The fact that he owns the, half, most scoring in a half. It just, his range is rivaled only by Steph. He has the size that is required to lock down either anybody in your backcourt, and I just love his range as well. He gives you just a B+ to A- of everything for me.
My number 5 guard, and Klay was right there. Here's the thing, I have all 5 of my top guards point guards. Because I think...
I understand. It's the quarterback mentality of point guards are going to be more valued than...
Especially since James Harden kind of swapped over. Yeah. James Harden would have been top 5 guard either way, but since he basically was their point guard last year, it's kind of hard to qualify him. And if I went 1 through 10, 6 through 10 would have been filled with
shooting guards.
Klay Thompson would have been number 6. But... number 5, just barely beating him out because he's able to do a little bit more on offense, is Chris Paul.
Oh.
Chris Paul's getting up there in age, but he's going to play defense for you. He's going to be able to carry your offense both on himself with scoring and able to make plays for other people in his passing game. So it's one of those things where I really believe in Chris Paul as a leader on a team. And I think that someone like him, who can drop 40 a night or 20 assists a night, I could see him doing that at some point in his career. I think that he still makes a case for being a top 5 guard. And like I said, that assist, that running the offense really gives the edge to point guards over shooting guards to me. And if we did a top 10 list... that bottom half of the top 10 would be stacked with point guard or shooting guards, starting with Klay Thompson as number 6 for me.
So for me, Chris Paul and this next person were neck and neck for number 5, and I can agree with you on Chris Paul, but since we're doing the section of guards, I think that Russell Westbrook just inches out Chris Paul. I don't think his true position is point guard, but I love his effort. Plays with his hair on fire. He's just the Energizer Bunny on the court, and he does play hero ball a little too often. I'm hoping that that's something that if with Paul George now he'll shed out of, that he showcased what he can do. From generations to come, they can show the triple-double year, and now he won't have anything to prove, not have that Napoleon complex where he's trying to prove himself to the world by doing all the wrong things that don't necessarily matter. But just when you talk about athleticism, effort, energy, presence as far as defensively, he has all of it. And he also is just so incredibly athletic. He's Derrick Rose with a more solid frame. I cannot say any more about Russell Westbrook outside of I don't think he's playing his true position, but I don't blame if you want to switch out Chris Paul for Westbrook. They're just so neck and neck, but due to age and effort, I give it to Westbrook. Moving on.
I think that our first 2 forwards are going to be exactly the same.
They're not. One will be.
Oh, then maybe... Oh, okay.
There we go.
Number 1 for me...
3, 2, 1.
LeBron James.
Yeah.
This isn't even a contest. No. He can do it all. He can run your offense. He's able to play the defense. He's the best player in the game right now. Yeah. So...
But anybody who's trying to do a hot take of Kevin Durant and Kawhi Leonard, just just give up.
It's not gonna happen.
And also, I mean, that just, I'm sorry to bring up old stuff, but that's another reason why I took Chris Paul off, because I feel that he's so ball dominant that he doesn't always mesh well with other players to combine, so that's why I would put Westbrook. But I'm sorry. Then, my number 2 is going to have you rolling. Anthony Davis. My number 2 player in the forward section.
Honestly?
Again, you pushed me to make him a forward. I wanted to contend to put him as a center, but since I'm forced to play him as a forward.
No, I could.
Anthony Davis, to me, is so incredibly versatile. He's LeBron-like in that he can guard pretty much any position, maybe outside of Russell Westbrook on a few just slip by him plays, but he's so incredibly versatile. He has a great handle for a big man. Grew up playing point guard and then just grew into a freakishly near center body. And he's also improving on his range, which is absolutely scary. He takes my number 2 spot. For you, I'd imagine I know who it is. It would be
Kevin Durant.
Oh!
I have Kevin Durant. He's definitely, to me, the second best. He's basically a poor man's version of LeBron. He's going to be able, to me, guard 1 through 4, even maybe smaller centers. He's a 7-footer. He's scrawny, yes. So maybe he'd have problems with some bigger players.
Some bigger fours.
But I think that he could guard 1 through 4 potentially. He's able to run an offense. He can shoot from anywhere. He can score from anywhere. He can pass from anywhere. He can get to the rim. So just overall, he's my my number 2 forward.
Wow. Number 3, Kawhi Leonard. For me, he is the embodiment of the Spurs. Everything you hate or everything you love. He is a selfless player, to a fault sometimes, but a selfless player. And his grind and grit mentality really shows in his top 5 defensive player voting statuses of the past 3 years, 4 years.
Yeah.
And that is just, he has the size and the body to actually lock down your best player. Not just guard. You can mix and match him, but he will lock down your best player and is quite possibly the only player I would trust guarding LeBron. And that alone, the fact that he also gives a great offensive input is just invaluable to me. And he plays nice with other players.
To me, Anthony Davis is my number 3.
Okay.
All the reasons you listed. He's my power forward to make this list. He can potentially guard 1 through 5. He's getting the range. He can dominate defensively, and he can score almost anywhere from the court. So for me, I'd put him as number 3.
Now, does the fact that he's only made 1 playoff run in his entire career do anything against your case?
No, I don't think so, because he has been playing with almost absolute trash his entire career.
Absolutely.
Last year, he got Cousins halfway through the season.
Only 26 games, I think.
Yeah, and
even then, Drew Holiday was missing.
Yeah, Drew Holiday's been
has
been dealing with both injuries, and he was taking care of his wife after I think brain surgery or something major like that. So I don't think that goes against Davis. The only knock I do have against him is he is very injury prone.
That's true.
I think last year was the most games he's played in a single season. And I think he still missed a few games last year with injury too. So that would be my one knock on him.
The broken brow. My number 4, now we're getting to it, Kevin Durant. Really the MVP of the finals, and is a selfless player in that he fits perfectly in the Golden State Warriors offense. Many of the consensus top 5 players that you would banter around could not mesh and mold so easily in a new system that already incorporates 2 other stars. It takes something USA Basketball-esque to do, and a very special player to come in and either dominate or be selfless at the right times. You have to almost sacrifice regular season importance and know that everything will be blamed on you and nothing will be accredited to you. It takes a special person, not even a player. So number 4, Kevin Durant for me. And then your number 5, which I'm sure again...
No, my number 4.
Your number 4? Oh, yes, your number 4. I'm sorry. Yes.
My number 4 is Kawhi Leonard.
Okay.
He can guard anybody. He can lock down anybody. He can score. He's somebody... He's not really there yet in terms of passing and running the offense through him, other than your usual San Antonio Spurs passing. Like,
right. Everybody gets a chance.
Yeah. So, and he has a good jump shot, but he's not... I think he could be an even better three-point shooter. I think he has a good percentage. I just don't think he takes... I think part of that is because he's such a low-volume three-point shooter, which is fine. It works with his game. But that's, to me, he's my number 4 forward.
Yeah, he had a 38% from three-pointer last season, all season. However, my number 5 now, which I'm sure will differ again, but I don't think you can argue with this, Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's the next big thing for me as far as after Anthony Davis. It's next going to be Giannis, and I'm hoping he somehow gets off the Bucks, or that all the Bucks' young talent actually molds and matures at the same time to where it creates this next generation Lakers where they all organically come up, and Thon Maker and
Parker can stay
Jabari
healthy.
Parker can stay healthy. I would love to see that happen, and Giannis is just an absolute freak. The fact that he can dunk and still stand one-toed on the court is just it's a phenomenal shot. If you haven't seen it in the playoffs against I can't remember who it was
Wizards.
against now. No.
Oh, Raptors.
The Raptors. But my point is that he's just he's on the LeBron scale of athletic freak in the best of ways, and I think that he's going to be only on the incline from here on out. I'm sure next year he's going to be banging on the door for number 3 at least.
Giannis was number 6 for me. Number 5 was Paul George.
Okay.
He's somebody, he can lock down a defender. He can lock down your opponent's best player. He's able to score almost at will. He's someone who kind of wants to take the shot for himself. He has that killer mentality. So I like him a lot for that. I know he was upset when he didn't get to take that final shot.
In game 1, right?
Yeah, I believe so. And I know you could just tell he really wanted it, but they did everything in their power to make sure he couldn't get it. So I really like him. Again, he's one of those players that you can't necessarily give him the ball to have him run the offense. He can play one-on-one, but he's not somebody who I'm going to rely on to go in there and run an offense like I would a LeBron or a Kevin Durant.
Yes, a very good appetizer to the steak dinner of NBA players. Anyways, I will now... do you want to go first on the center list since it was your grandiose idea?
Sure.
Why don't you go ahead? Who's your number 1? I'm sure that none of this list is going to be the same for either one of us because I'm going to value different kinds of centers than you are, I'm sure.
My number 1 center is DeMarcus Cousins.
Okay.
He can do literally everything that any other position can.
And he can also bring Buddy Hield to the Kings. That alone is what makes him invaluable.
Save Buddy Hield from Pelicans. Buddy Hield had a great season with the Kings.
Yeah, your love obsession with Buddy Hield.
He made an all-rookie team, so clearly he...
with Joel and Embiid, injured.
They're not even playing the same position. His injury had literally nothing to do with that.
Oh, God.
But DeMarcus Cousins, I like. He can shoot the ball. He can dribble. He can... He can defend. He typically doesn't, but he's capable.
He's good for getting a couple rebounds.
He can definitely rebound.
That's about the extent of his defensive presence.
And so overall, I'm not taking away from him because he's a baby. I'm just looking at this as pure skill, but he's kind of a baby on the court.
Oh, in that sense, I thought you meant an age.
No. I mean,
he's not a baby.
No, I mean he has a child's attitude.
He's a man-child. Yeah. All right. My number 1, Marc Gasol. I love his range. The fact that he, a lot of these centers have had to adjust or been forced to adjust to the new dictation of range. So he was one of the first to do it, and now one of the best to do it, shooting absolutely fantastic from three-point range. And he also gives you a grit and grind defensive presence as well. He's a silent leader, developed into one of the top centers in the league, my top center. Really embodies all that Memphis has been and continues to be for the foreseeable future until he gets traded to the Celtics. Your turn.
My number 2 center is Karl Anthony Towns.
Ditto. Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, just
that good already.
He can do all of it. He can shoot, he can score, he can rebound, he can block, he can pass. He's the all-around center.
Biggest detriment is that he's young, but outside of that, he can really take over a game all by himself.
Yeah, I mean, I hope that he can continue to progress at the rate he's going. But yeah, he's just an athletic freak, and he's my number 2 center.
It takes somebody like Karl Anthony Towns to upend Andrew Wiggins as the unquestioned cornerstone franchise player.
Yeah.
So then that brings us to my number 3, Rudy Gobert. Just up and coming, a little fragile, I'll give you that. But I'm drawing a blank at his name now. But isn't he the Tower of Defense? Or the Leaning Tower of Defense. Something French.
He's French. Leaning Tower of Pisa is Italian.
Yeah, so... Well, I was thinking of the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. Whatever his name is, and I'm sure we'll get tweeted about it here, and everybody will yell. But Rudy Gobert, my number 3, just for his defensive presence alone. Love him.
My number 3 is Marc Gasol.
Okay.
Same reasons you listed. He's someone who can pass. You can run the offense through him. To me, that's a big factor for centers, is if you can run an offense through them still.
That's amazing.
And he can rebound. He's good. He's won Defensive Player of the Year. So he's someone who's going to be able to help you on both sides of the ball. So for me, he's my number 3 center.
He's got a little bit of an attitude. He
does. A good attitude.
Yes,
Not a DeMarcus Cousins attitude.
No, and he mimicked Conor McGregor's Irish walk-off.
The shimmy.
The shimmy. And DeMarcus Cousins makes my list as number 4. Again, given his temperament, he's still uber talented. And he also has range. And that's really... I feel like a broken record, but that's going to be the end-all, be-all for centers for the foreseeable future. You cannot be a serviceable center and not be the first player that somebody's willing to trade or let go if you do not have range. Brook Lopez was seen as a... or is it Robin Lopez? Whoever was the Lopez traded to the Lakers was seen as a boon for the Lakers because he has range.
But that's Brook.
That's Brook. Robin's with the Trailblazers?
I don't even know anymore.
I couldn't tell you. But anyways, the point is that he has range, and that's going to be why DeMarcus Cousins for me is just in the top 5, even given his coach and team killer mantra.
Number 4 and 5 for me are 2 centers who don't have range. I'm not going to list both of them right now.
Oh, I was wondering.
A little bit of a preview.
Okay.
Number 4 has literally no range.
They both have range, just one does not have any range, the other has all the range. Okay.
No, neither have range.
Oh, okay.
One just has literally no range. The other has a little range.
Deandre Jordan.
Absolutely. Deandre Jordan's my number 4 center because he's going to get you a ton of rebounds. He's going to be able to play defense for you.
He's going to get nothing without Chris Paul.
That's not accurate because he's still going to get tons of offensive rebounds and putbacks, which he was getting without
this year with Chris Paul.
And he's still going to be able to get alley-oops. Chris Paul is not the only point guard who can throw a ball in the air high enough to where only DeAndre Jordan can grab.
He's just the only smart one who knows when it won't be swatted away because he's probably the best at those alley-oops. Anyways, you've made your point. My number 5 to round out my list is Hassan Whiteside.
Same.
Okay, so there we go. Plays for the Heat, just really noticeable. I love the fact, I love his story. It just adds to whatever prestige he has coming up as an undrafted free agent signing.
Went to Lebanon.
Yes, and then
comes
back and works himself into a max deal, signing a deal that actually priced the Heat out of a lot of competition in free agency because they saw him as just that good that they needed to retain him. And And I love his versatility. He's got size to him, but he's not immobile. He's got some speed and agility, and he's definitely a defensive presence. I believe leading the league in defensive blocks. He led the league.
There's only defensive blocks.
Yeah, he led it in rebounds. I'm sorry, with 14.1. Defensive blocks.
He's just a monster. He's probably top 5 in blocks, if not leading in blocks.
In blocks. Yes, number 4 with 2.1.
Yeah, and he's someone who gets triple doubles with blocks. He's somebody who's going to help you lock down on the defensive side. He's going to get you your rebounds, and he's going to not be an offensive juggernaut, but he averages, I want to say, right around like 14 points a game, somewhere in there. So he's capable of doing more than just putbacks and dunks, like somebody, unlike people like a Deandre Jordan or Tyson Chandler.
Right, like somebody completely worthless. That makes sense.
That's just being rude.
Just in an NBA sense, completely worthful person, I'm sure. Speaking of worth, the best section and segment of all time is coming to you right after this commercial break. Give me 5. In 5 minutes. Right here. Right now. Stay tuned. Red Ribbon Realty Group at HomeSmart is a full-service real estate team of Phoenix natives with over 15 years of experience in the industry. When you work with them, you have 2 full-time realtors representing your best interests throughout your entire transaction, whether you are selling, buying, or renting. They also believe in supporting their community. Use code word chopped greens, and Red Ribbon Realty Group will donate 15% of their net commission from your transaction to the nonprofit charity of your choice. Visit their website at www.redribbongroup.com and find them on Facebook. You can also email them at info@redribbongroup.com or call them at 602-888-6638. Red Ribbon Realty Group. Trust. Commitment. Home. And we are back from the 5-hour-long break there in the commercial studio audience. I don't know what I'm saying. But
I don't know either.
Yeah, it was really a long drive, and I just forgot where I was driving to. Anyways, the point of it all is to say, Luke, we are here at Give Me 5, the part of the show where I've got 5 questions for you, you got 5 questions for me. We don't know what they are.
I was supposed to have 5 questions this week?
5.
Wow.
You give me 5, and I give you 5.
Oh, is that why it's called Give Me 5?
That is, and we will answer those questions.
Oh, okay.
Honestly. Would you like to go first or second today, Mr. Luke?
I want to bat second.
Bat second. That was a very weird, slow pronunciation of it, but I will appease you. Drawing inspiration from the 2004 hit movie Dodgeball, a true underdog story featuring Vince Vaughn, Christine Taylor, and Ben Stiller, ESPNU will become ESPN 8, the Ocho.
Brilliant advertising.
On Tuesday, August 8th, or more appropriately, 8/8. For one day only, the FAW Network will feature a lineup of unconventional sporting events ranging from disc golf to ultimate trampoline dodgeball and Firefighters World Challenge, playing off the mantra highlighted in the movie, bringing you the finest in seldom seen sports. Luke, what is an offbeat sport that you would stop and watch if you were perusing the old telly and saw it was on?
I used to do this a ton. But you know the Game Network, like GSN or something.
Oh yes.
And it would show all the game
like the really
shows.
old Family Feud, the Bingo.
It would just, if it was a game show, it would be on
in
there.
the late 70s. It was there.
It was there when I was a kid.
Yeah, no, I'm saying if it was a game show in the 70s.
No, it was showing current ones too.
Oh, okay.
It would show modern
Deal or
episodes.
No Deal.
Yeah.
Okay.
If it was a game show, it found its way on.
Okay. Anyways, you were saying.
And one of the things it would show, which was not a game show but was still on here, was dodgeball. Mm-hmm. Like it was competitive professional dodgeball, and I would watch it all day long. All day long.
It just got your gears grinding.
It was cool. Like it was really cool to watch because like it was set up almost like the movie Dodgeball and the scenes and everything, like how the arena was set up,
okay.
and so it was really cool to watch. And so they would show like 2 or 3 games an episode or something like that. and it was like actual teams, and they would get together, and it was great. So I would always watch it. I'm not sure if it's not really considered a sport, but also if they had chess. Going back to my high school days when I played competitive chess.
You ever seen those videos where they go into the park and it's like a chess master and they just sit down and they like just are essentially hitting the timer and it's just hit, move, or move, hit, whichever. But yeah, okay. So chess and dodgeball. Okay, your turn, Mr. Luke Wright.
Well, tonight, because we are recording this on a Thursday night,
we are,
is the Hall of Fame game between the Dallas Cowboys and the Arizona Cardinals.
This is where the newest Hall of Fame enshrinees are all brought out and cohorted, or
I don't know.
Okay.
I've literally actually never watched it because, and this is a great segue into my question, I don't care about preseason. I know some people love it, not because of the quality of football, but because it's supposed to be a sign of football is almost back, or for some people it is football being back. I personally was never into that. To me, football's not back until the very first week of the season. I don't really care. I don't get hyped up for training camp starting. I don't get hyped up for preseason, and especially not the Hall of Fame game, because all it is one extra preseason game. So my question to you is, are you the type of fan who does get hyped up when preseason starts?
Well, I'll answer it in this fashion. The only preseason that I'm really usually hyped about is actually baseball. Because spring training is pretty awesome. It's actually an event unto itself. You don't necessarily, you go there hoping to see it start, but other than that, it's really an excuse to get together and go get some cheap game tickets and get a cheaper version of what you enjoy. But in specificity to NFL, the only reason why I get hyped for preseason are the unexpected roster cuts that are a result of that. And every once in a while you'll see somebody lose their job and then somebody who was in free agency get a job because of that, or or unfortunately because of an injury, somebody, Darrelle Revis gets in as a cornerback or something, who knows, but that's the only reason why I really like preseason. And as a fantasy football owner, you can kind of see who does what. I remember last year, Dak Prescott was actually turning heads as the rookie starting those preseason games. It actually meant a lot, and you could actually see how unfazed he was in those first couple of games. And so for those reasons alone, I'll go pumped. I'm not hyped. I'm pumped about preseason and the fact that it is some form of fashion of football coming back. So, Luke, the game NBA Live 2018, which is being released before the end of 2017, will include all 12 WNBA teams along with their full rosters. It's the first time in the history of the video game series, which has existed for more than 2 decades, that WNBA players...
On and off.
Okay. That WNBA players will be featured in an opportunity exclusive to the NBA Live franchise this year. Rosters will be current as of September 9th, 2017, with league superstars Jewel Lloyd, Sue Bird, Deanna Taurasi, Brittany Griner, Maya Moore, Elena Del Don, and others included in the game. Luke, 2 questions here. Will the inclusion of players and teams from the WNBA rosters grow the actual league's viewership? And what is your favorite team/roster to play with from all the sports games in all the world? If you had an old Nintendo 64 and played some good old Madden, maybe there was a team on there, or go ahead.
No, I don't think it's really going to help viewership. Realistically, people who play especially NBA Live, because it's definitely not nearly as popular as 2K. You might see a very slight bump, but it's not going to be anything really
substantial.
Yeah. So I don't think people being able to play as the teams will make them somehow that emotionally invested. Because first of all, you're not going to have people playing with them in a serious manner. I saw the tweet today, it's going to be a new level of disrespect when you beat your homie playing as an WNBA team. People who play as it, unfortunately, there's going to be quite a few of them who play it with it as a joke. I can beat you, you're so bad I could beat you with a WNBA team. And I mean, again, I don't think it's necessarily negative or positive. I just think that it's going to be added, and I doubt they're going to continue to put the time and effort into continuing to add the teams.
I wonder if within the game, if they will segregate the teams themselves, because in NBA 2K17, I know they have the Olympic rosters, and you can play those interchangeably with current. You could play them against the current Houston Rockets roster, or you could play. I don't know, Spain's USA Olympic team. I mean, whatever. So I wonder if it's allowed that you could play only WNBA team to WNBA team, or if you will be able to play them against the Cavaliers.
I'm sure you will. And what was the second question?
Second question: what is your favorite team / roster to play with?
This is
a no-brainer.
Kind of a no-brainer. The 2011 NBA Miami Heat.
Really?
I don't know. Obviously, it was.
That's mine too.
Yeah,
I'm dead serious.
The first year of the big three.
Oh, the first year.
That was 2011 when they lost to Dallas.
Oh.
2012 was when they won. Then they won in 2013, lost in 2014.
2013, I think, is the one NBA 2K offers, and that's the one that I play because it has Ray Allen in it.
Oh no! See, that's not the one I played.
Okay.
I played before Ray Allen showed up.
Okay.
That was the thing it wasn't when they were like an elite 3-point shooting team.
Yeah, but it didn't matter.
I would play LeBron and D Wade, and I would just spam drive into the basket, get the foul, hit the free throw. Bosch was my 3-point shooter. I don't know what it was about Chris Bosh's shot in 2K11, but I could nail that 3-point shot all day long.
All right, that's fantastic. Your turn, Luke.
Okay, so as I am sure you're aware of, in the past week, LaMelo Ball and Zion played at a AAU tournament.
Stay in your lane!
And you had 80,000 people watching the live stream of a 15-year-old and some other high schooler. There was Lane Kiffin, when he was the head coach of USC, offering like a 7th grader a scholarship. You see this a lot more as we get more into sports. Possibly a little too into sports, to be perfectly honest. People I guarantee you are trying to recruit LeBron James Jr.
Oh, yes.
So, my question to
I believe
you...
Duke has already offered him a scholarship, if I'm not mistaken.
Probably. I know Dwayne Wade's nephew and his son is good, too.
Yeah, his son's good, too, but his nephew, I know, it just got a scholarship offer, and he's looking pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, Shaq's son is playing for Arizona, right?
Maybe.
I thought he was playing for Arizona. He chose Arizona over the Tigers.
I'm honestly not 100%.
Anyways.
But anyways,
your point.
My point is, LaMelo's 15. Like, there's a lot that can happen in his last 2 years of high school. A 7th grader is not at all physically developed enough to be able to say whether or not he could play for an D1 Power 5 school. So my question to you is, at what point should we start actually paying attention to these young athletes?
Well, just as Sharif O'Neal, Shaquille's son, did commit to Arizona, so there's that.
Great.
Not the right school, but...
no, not at all.
But he did commit to Arizona.
Fear the fort.
Yes. But how young is too young? Honestly... You hit it right on the head. I mean, when it comes to LeBron, and we see that natural tendency, just as it was with MJ, just as it was with George Foreman's kids, just as it was with any really just top of the line and noticeable celebrity from sports and whatever it is, if they have an interest in what their father is from or mother, I mean, I'm sure Serena Williams, when her child comes out, give it about 10 years and we'll be looking to see if she's into tennis. If they are into the sport of which their parent has made them famous in, we will be interested to see whether or not they are a boom or a bust, whether or not they are the gene has been carried through, and I think that's just a natural evolutional curiosity. When you put a tiger and a lion together, does it create the most vicious predator and all? No, it just creates a liger, a weird looking cat. But
it's mostly known for its skills in magic.
Yes. But the point is how young is too young? Honestly, until they get to college, or even maybe they're just like the last semester of their high school year, just leave them alone.
I don't mind knowing of them early high school, but I don't want
coverage and cameras.
I don't care. I don't want 80,000 people obsessed with the sophomore playing in an AAU game.
Does it change for you when we have in Arizona at least? I'm sure it's around in Texas, but in Arizona we have Friday Night Lights where you can watch
they do the high school
games. It's not necessarily focused on any one player.
No,
but
see, that's why I like it, because it's not focused on the player. It's just focused on the sport and letting people enjoy high school athletics.
Okay.
So I don't mind that. Now, if they focused only on one player,
this running back is potentially gonna be recruited.
If it was just this one player who always got all of the spotlight, then I'd probably have a problem, especially if he was only like a sophomore or freshman.
And that's really the difference between the NBA and NFL, where in the NBA it's linked to star players, whereas if Tom Brady has a kid, we've seen Chris Carter have a kid, and he grew up he's now in the CFL, he's kind of bordering on the NFL line, whatever. It's very rare that we take interest in the son outside of, I think Joe Montana's son tried to play quarterback, didn't make it. It's very hard for that line to happen. So,
yeah.
Luke. So that's yes, Luke. Today is the birthday of the GOAT, Tom Brady. The GOAT meaning, of course, the greatest of all time. That moniker has been placed on Brady, but I want to see if you can beat Brady, Luke, by going perfect in the Brady or bust game I have made up. I'm going to give you a fact, and you tell me whether it is true or false. Are you ready, Luke?
Can I phone a friend?
No, you gotta. I'm sure you have Patriots fans up the wazoo, but here we go. With 208 career wins, Brady is the winningest NFL quarterback of all time. True or false?
True. No. True.
You're sticking with true?
True.
Absolutely true, and that includes the playoffs. Fact number 2, Brady has thrown a touchdown pass to 65 receivers in the regular season.
True.
Absolutely true. Gronkowski has the most.
69. 68. No, 67.
Okay. I didn't pull that out. I just realized that Gronk was the most.
Yes, 60.
Okay.
60.
I'm the most on the receiving end of that.
Sure,
all right, fact number 3. Brady went to the same high school as Jim Fregosi, Greg Jeffries, Lynn Swann, and Barry Bonds. True or false?
False.
That is absolutely true. And fascinating, right?
I actually thought it was true, but there's no way he's going 3 trues in a row.
Yeah, there you go. You got to play the numbers game, right? Number 4, Brady is 4-0 in his career against the Dallas Cowboys. True or false?
Oh, see, that's a good one.
That's dirty, right?
He never played him in the playoffs, obviously. He never played him in the Super Bowl, obviously.
Doing you dirty.
4 times? I don't even know if they played 4 times in Brady's career.
He's pretty old.
I'm going to go false.
And that is absolutely true. And it was also number 4.
Really?
Yeah, I know. Brady's first career start was a 44-13 win against Peyton Manning's Colts.
False.
That's absolutely true. It's the first career start. He played against the Dolphins, but it wasn't the start. It was the next game was the start. Does that make sense?
Wait, what?
It wasn't his first. So he came in to replace Bledsoe against the Dolphins, but the next game was against Peyton Manning and the Colts, and that was his first career start because he wasn't in the Miami Dolphins game. He wasn't the starter.
No, I see what you're saying. I didn't even realize that he had won either. Did you just give me 5 true facts?
Look at this. He's catching on. Number 6. Brady voiced himself.
Wait, how many are there?
There's 10.
Oh my God.
Brady voiced himself in a 2005 episode of Family Guy.
True.
Absolutely, and the episode was called Patriot Games. Number 7. Brady has 2 career receptions for a total
False.
of 59 yards.
False.
It is absolutely true.
That is not accurate.
Yes,
oh
it
my
is.
God.
This is all from USA Today, by the way. So there's my accreditation. Brady has a losing regular season record against one team, the Seattle Seahawks.
False.
It is absolutely true. He is 1-2 against them.
That's false. That's false. I know for a fact it's false.
Regular season?
Yep.
Regular season?
Yep.
I know he lost the Richard Sherman game.
No, I don't know what his record... No, I'm not saying he's not losing record against Seattle. He has a losing record against the Denver Broncos.
Regular season?
He's the only... You know what? Maybe this stat was just in general.
Because they have played in the playoffs. So it's saying regular season.
Well, no, because I don't know, because this was also like a year ago.
I think that's also including playoffs.
Maybe it is.
I may be wrong.
Because I know that the Broncos were the only ones at the time
Like a house
he had a
of
losing record against in the entire league. They were the only one with the losing record.
We'll have to fact check that one, but again, this is all the USAA Today. So
I'm on the USA Today.
So pretty tight on there, but we'll see. Brady has. By the way, this is all to say that he's turning 40. I don't even think I mentioned that, but just to say.
You mentioned his birthday.
I mentioned it's his birthday. I never said. But Brady has punted the ball twice in his career, totaling 68 yards.
True.
Absolutely true. It is true. Finally, number 10. Brady has been at 11 AFC Championship games, 1 NFC Championship game, and 6 Super Bowls. True or false?
False.
It's absolutely true.
No, he does. You just said won 6 Super Bowls.
He's been to 6 Super Bowls.
Oh, I misheard you. I thought you said won 6 Super Bowls.
No. Brady has been at 11 AFC Championship games, 1 NFC Championship game, and 6 Super Bowls.
Okay, see, that's awkward phrasing.
It is awkward phrasing. But Brady was in the stands at Candlestick Park for the 1981 NFC Championship game
one.
when San Francisco 49ers
Joe
wide receiver
Montana,
Dwight Clark
the catch.
made the catch.
I did know that.
Okay, I thought I was going to get you on that one. That was interesting.
No, I knew that one.
All right. So outside of the career receptions one, you actually did pretty well in that game. Go you and go GOAT. All right, your turn.
This one doesn't really have any build-up. I was just kind of thinking about it, and I wanted to know, if you could own any business, what would it be?
You know what I would want it to be something that I like, but 2, I would need it to be something that's profitable. So within those 2 things, I'm thinking, well, what I know is profitable is parking lots and parking garages, but I don't necessarily like them. And what I like is Potbellies, but I don't necessarily know it's profitable. Who knows? It could be a trend, whatever. A lot of upkeep. So what serves and satisfies both? I would open up my own QT gas station. I would love the benefits, and you know, cheap gas is cheap gas.
It's true.
All right. Sheryl Crow was motivated to release a new song titled "Dude, I'm Still Alive" after a Twitter user assumed the pop artist would be spinning in said tomb over Kid Rock's political aspirations. Oh my God. Quote, if Kid Rock runs for Senate, I wouldn't be surprised, but not over my dead body, cause dude, I'm still alive. Crow sings, referencing the tweet and her once rumored former fling Kid Rock's bid for a Michigan Senate seat. Using this prompt, I'm going to venture out on the very shaky limb and play a game with you, Luke. The game is simple, and I don't think I'll have to explain how it goes. The game is called Dead or Alive. So here we go. Here we go.
This is oh my God.
This is the one that was very hard for me to come up with before because I was trying to think of who are some of the good ones to put on this list. So here we go. Dead or Alive, Rob Ford, the former mayor of Toronto.
Alive.
He's actually dead. March 22nd, 2016, died in Toronto of cancer. Died of cancer.
Is he the one who did like cocaine and stuff?
Yep, that Rob Ford.
Oh my God.
Died of cancer.
I didn't know he died.
I know. Next one. Seal, the singer who sang Kiss from a Rose. Dead or alive?
Alive?
Absolutely alive. And I don't need to put any reason for that. Doris Day, the actor and singer from Hitchcock's The Man Who Knew Too Much. Dead or alive?
I think she's dead.
Final answer?
No, I'm gonna go alive.
Final answer?
Final answer.
Absolutely alive. Rocking towards 90.
Dang.
Go you, Doris Day. Buddy Ryan, the coordinator of the famed 85 Bears
He's
defense.
Dead.
He is dead. June 28th, 2016. I didn't know if you'd have fake remembrance.
No, that one I knew he was dead.
And finally, Alan Young, the actor who voiced the character Scrooge McDuck. Dead or alive?
Dead.
Absolutely dead. May 19th, 2016. And your turn, buddy. Very risque game right there.
I thought it was even going to be more risque, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I didn't know because a lot of the people that get mistaken as dead, like Jim Carrey or Steve Martin or something, you still know that they're alive. They're too famous, so it was interesting. But Rob Ford, I didn't even know that one.
Yeah, I didn't know.
So
again,
well met.
I was just kind of sitting by and thinking of questions, and I thought of this one. It's like a very cliche get to know you one.
Oh, fantastic.
That you ask significant others and stuff when you're first on a first date or second date or something. If you died tomorrow, what would you do today? If you
24 hours from now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, 24 hours from now. Ooh. Well, I would go spend a lot of money. I just don't know what I would spend it on. And I would my last 24 hours. I'd probably take my girlfriend Ruby and my family up to Vegas, and we would have a hell of a time on whatever assets I have left. So that's my answer. Bury me where I was born, not in Vegas. Okay. But that's probably what I do. Just Vegas. I think that's literally all you need to say because there's so many options and venues in Vegas and it never sleeps. So it doesn't matter what time I get there in 4 hours. They'll still be rolling along. So buy myself a nice suite. And go play the tables.
I'd go first class to Vegas. Oh, I'm definitely gonna die in Vegas, but
yeah,
get blackout drunk while gambling.
Yeah, you don't even feel it then.
Yeah.
So there you go. Go first class. Maybe even rent your own plane, depending on how much that might be.
I don't know if they'll accept a credit card for that.
Or go to some mobster and say, hey, I'm a youngin'. Why don't you? I need a line of credit here. All right, my last question here, Luke. In March of 2017, Chance the Rapper took to Twitter to announce that he was looking for an intern. He encouraged non-traditional resumes, but I'm going to murder this name, but Nagale Hospitalis went above and beyond, building an entire website to highlight his qualifications and make his case. It worked, and Hospitalis got an email the same day he launched the website. A few weeks later, a text from Chance confirmed it. He got the job. He's spent the last few months working with Chance and tagging along for the Be Encouraged tour. So, Luke, I ask you, if you could intern with one celebrity, any venue of celebrity status, so we can go sports, we can go pop culture, we can go astronaut, it doesn't really matter, who would it be and why? And it's not for a set time even, it's just who would you want to intern with?
Who would I want to intern with? That's a tough question.
Because you could go with your celebrity crush, but really, you're just an intern, so it's almost a wasted venue.
Yeah.
You could go with career, but then again, who would have direct correlation to that? If you were 10 years ago to intern underneath LeBron, that would be a great career choice. You could be the next Brian Windhorst.
It's true.
It's very true.
Hey, LeBron, what up, fam? I think I would probably go Ernie Johnson.
Really?
I think so, because he is...
Is he your role model?
My career role model, yes.
Yeah, he's what you want to be career-wise.
If I could get mentored and work under Ernie Johnson, I would absolutely love it.
The commentator on NBA postgame show.
Yeah,
and pregame show.
Yeah, he does even more than that.
I know.
He's called games. And it's not just basketball. He's called baseball. He does some golf stuff.
Always well prepared.
He does. Yeah, he is almost the perfect person in terms of that career field. So if I could work under him, I would love it. So I think that's probably who I would choose if one person, I think it'd be him. And he's just a nice dude. I would love to work with him. He's just a nice dude.
All right, your turn for our last question here.
So, last year...
Also, I really hope I didn't get a ticket.
Where'd you park?
I parked over at the meter, and it expired about 35 minutes ago.
Ooh. Downtown's not the place to risk that.
Yep.
Well,
as I'm thinking about that. But anyways, go ahead.
Real
Quick. Here we go.
Last year, we saw one of the biggest streaks/curses in all of sports end with the Chicago Cubs finally winning a World Series.
Oh, yes.
After 108 years. A lot of people died in that 108 years. Literally, we had 2 world wars in that 108 years. So my question to you is, what team do you think will never win a championship in our lifetime?
Let me think here. I thought it would be the Cleveland Cavaliers, but they just got out on the life lottery ticket that is having LeBron actually like being from Ohio.
Still the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah. But even then, football is so different to where I truly think there's so much parity that if you have the right direction, you could go. I don't think, it's not the same as the NBA where you need to recruit players. So I'm going to go, I think I'm going to go with, probably going to go with, sorry, this is an interesting one. So let's think out loud here. If we have, I'm thinking.
What sport are you thinking first?
I'm thinking NBA because that's going to be the hardest. If you're bad, you're usually stained.
No, to me it's the opposite. In NBA, I think it is the most potential now. It just takes that one superstar talent, that one LeBron James, that one Kobe Bryant. You get him and you have a chance.
I'm going to go with Milwaukee. And I know that they have...
The Bucks?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Milwaukee because, for one, they haven't really won... well, I guess Wisconsin with the Packers has won. But if I had to choose a franchise specifically, I would choose Milwaukee Bucks because I don't think, for one, Giannis is going to stay. But even if he does stay, I don't know that he has the allure that someone like LeBron James has only because he's foreign. And it's not to stigmatize him. I just think, for one, you're not doing yourself any favors by being in Milwaukee. It's going to be very hard to lure players there. But beyond that, I don't see him as good of a recruit as a potential LeBron James could be, as a potential Anthony Davis could be, as a potential whoever the next person is going to be. Let's say Sharif O'Neal. I mean, I just don't know that he qualifies as good of a recruiter, and that's half the game in the NBA. So I'm going to go with Milwaukee.
See, I'd go Cleveland. To me, the NFL is the hardest one to get Cleveland from Browns. Or Indians. Or really, let's say Cleveland. Just Cleveland.
Let's go back to Cleveland.
LeBron's not winning one now, and when LeBron leaves, what are they going to have?
So you're saying that Arizona will break that streak before Cleveland now has a chance to... Because in order for Cleveland to now win, they've broken the streak. So Arizona, everybody else now has to win before them.
I think it'll be a while. I think
Okay.
it'll be a long while before Cleveland wins any sort of title now.
And I think it'll be a while before I forget to redo my meter during the break into Gimme 5. It will be a long time before I forget that again, as I go out and pray to God that I do not have a ticket, and I most assuredly do, I'm sure. Well, as we wrap it up, thank you everybody for listening. As always, you can listen to our old archived episodes on YouTube. Follow us on our new episodes on SoundCloud. For
Luke Wright.
I am Philip Amerine. Thank you so much for listening, and bye.